Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Stacey West YouTube channel. It is, of course, time for the new season to kick off. 2025-26 is almost underway. The Imps kick off against Reading at home. So who better to talk to than Johnny Hunt, my man? How you doing? You keeping well?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you?
Back,
another season comes around so quickly, doesn't it?
It does indeed, mate. Yeah, I'm keeping all right, thanks. We're all... I think we've all been twiddling our thumbs a little bit over the summer, waiting for football to come back. Obviously, we've had the Women's Euros, but it's not the same. It's not quite the same as getting back down to your local and seeing some football in the flesh. So yeah, we may as well get straight into it. Reading very, very narrowly missed out on the playoffs last season, finishing in 7th, partly due to a 1-0 win at 1-0 loss at the hands of the Imps rather. In the final weeks, and then missing out on the last day. Obviously, goal difference probably meant it wouldn't have happened anyway. But what's the feeling around the club at the minute and the fan base? Is the expectation to kick on, go one better than last season, and finish in the top 6, or is it? Are you expecting a season of consolidation?
I think just expecting. It's nice to have a club, to be honest. Like the fan base and we were so unified against the previous owner, and now it's become a slight, as it does with fan bases, that people think this should happen, that should happen. It's like, oh, but we're back to the normal football world we forgot about for years. It's hard because we've lost probably three or four good players in Bengay and Tyler Binden. Tyler Binden was always going to go because he's class. One of the best defenders I've seen in a long time. And then Bengay decided to go to the fake hoops, which is, it's a step up for him, and good luck to him. And, that's down to also our the lack of contracts and all the stuff that went on under the previous owner. And then obviously Rob Kuig has come in, guns blazing and talking a very good game about what we're going to do and how we're going to do this and how we do that. But the proof's in the pudding, as a fan. You need to shut up or put up. That's the way I would put it. We need. We've had an interesting summer of a few signings coming in, but we're still not where we should be as a squad. We've finally, after 5 years, I think we can actually sign players for money, which is a rarity for us as a fan. All these weird things that normal football clubs do, yeah. And we're like, oh geez, we can do that. Oh wow, that's unreal. So yeah, it's a real work in progress, and I get the frustrations of everyone that supports that we should be, there's rumours about the lad from Notts Forest, I think Bowler, coming in for 400, and then that's gone quiet, and we're not going to offer stupid contracts because we've been burnt with that in the past and all the financial issues. So it's a real mixed bag. So I literally, for me, I just kind of go, we just see what happens. I've got a football club, and people go, yeah, we've got a football club back, but it's like, well, you can't fix the mess of the past number of years in one day, or one transfer window even. So you have to be slightly realistic, and I can get the frustrations and I can get all the other things, but it's going to take time.
Yeah, so I mean, realistically, I think anybody with a sensible head on, with a Reading shirt on, is probably going to say we would quite happily settle for a season of normalcy. Just have a normal football season.
Yeah, we've never had that for a long time, so I don't know what normal actually means for us as fans. But last year we got very lucky, is in the fact that we had a really good playing group, and a really united spirit. Firstly under Reuben, and then under Noel, who kind of consolidated that. And obviously, but then we had to lose players like Sam Smith to pay the wages for the end of the season and different things like that. And then we've lost quality again in the summer, and looks like we're losing Harvey Nibbs as well, who was Sam Smith and Harvey Nibbs were our two top goal scorers last couple of seasons, and that's a big loss for us. And then Jaden Wareham, who did well, in the time that he played for us, has gone to Exeter. So we're kind of really
not quite threadbare, but getting there.
No. I think that's what I think that's the frustration of the fans is we're not threadbare, but this time we've actually had a choice to be able to make the squad. We got the young lad in from Brighton up front, but and Kelvin signed eventually a new contract after all the hoo-ha. But you're kind of thinking, well, we're not under the same issues that we've had before. Surely we should be a bit more forward than we are now. I know it's still a month away, with the transfer window to closing. But I guess people you look at other clubs signing, guys like Alfie May and all those kind of things. But we also have to, do things the way we can and keep the club running properly. And we don't know what the behind the scenes stuff is, regards in that, as in, I think Noel's come out and said that, we're not offering stupid contracts, and, a couple of players that were with us on trial have gone because they wanted more money after seeing the training ground. It's like, well,
yeah,
the training ground got to do with how much you're going to get paid, all these kind of weird things. But look, it's what it is. You just take it as a Reading fan and just get on with it. What else can you...
I suppose that's kind of it, isn't it? If you're not that privy to the behind the scenes stuff, and it's all, you're coming out of this time of just chaos and all the vitriol from the fan base, and deserved vitriol as well. It wasn't like it was the fans were annoyed for a bad reason. Like, there was a genuine feeling of upset among the fan base, and I think coming away from that, I think it seems sensible maybe for the club to take stock of things and just sit there and go, okay, where do we need to go? How are we going to get there? Let's take a season, maybe, like I say, have a season of normalcy, and then after that we can maybe push on and do everything else. So,
and I think with that, a lot of players have been offered 1-year contracts and stuff. So there's kind of maybe some stuff that's been hanging over from the previous regime, and they're trying to, Lewis Wing's got a longer contract, Joel Pereira's got a contract, so that the core of the team players, and there's ones, like Harvey Nibbles wants to go and better himself, and that's fine. He's got a year left on his contract. We've let so many players run their contracts down and go for nothing that we should have got money for. Michael Lise is a classic example of, 8 million we went and sold him for when he should have gone for a lot more because he was in the last year of his contract. Omar Richards did the same, went for free. So we have to learn the lessons of the past. And I'm sure the owners will make mistakes as well, coming out and saying we're going to be this and going to be that. It may be very American and very, gung-ho, but if you have to do that, then you have to back it up with the signing. So it's best just to keep stum, do it quietly and get on with it. And then, people would be appreciative of what you got. So, that's just as fan. Well, for me as a fan, I can only speak for myself, but that sometimes you just need to just stop talking and just do your business and get on with it and see where we're at. And that doesn't help the fans when you've got somebody like Rob Kuig who is a very he obviously wants to make a difference, but he's also very much about his ego and his making it about him and what he can do, and it's like, okay, that's fine, but do it then, but back it up with the actual things. It's already talk the talk and walk the walk. I think that's what we say, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is. So, I mean, you mentioned there about letting players run down the contracts and go for nothing at the end of it. Obviously, that's going to strike a little bit of a nerve with some Lincoln City fans, given one of your key signings over the summer, former captain Paudie O'Connor coming over to you guys, and then of course the debut would have to be away at Sincil Bank on the first game of the season. So, how's the reaction been to Paudie's signing? And obviously, we did see at the weekend that he played in a pre-season. I think we saw him get a few pelters on social media from Reading fans that were watching the game. I mean, did it feel like a signing that was needed? Obviously, you mentioned there that you've lost a couple of players in that sort of area of the pitch over the closed season. And was he the kind of almost the perfect fit for Reading, or was it a signing that caught some people by surprise?
No, I think it was a good signing. I think we so like we lost we lost Tyler and Amadou, who were a great partnership for us. As you know, in centre backs and any positions, you have combinations, and then him coming in, obviously with his background and from what I've seen of him and what I read of him, he's very well respected. He's a leader. If you're going to lose what we've lost and you're going to replace, then it's a pretty good like for like replacement. Yeah, maybe he's a bit older, but if you know this league and you know how to captain and you know how to organise and you do all the things that you need, and he wanted to come to us, and it's not a disrespect to you either, but like people are when they're under contract and they want to go and try and do something. Obviously, maybe the Irish connection as well. We're getting back to our Irish roots, coming from someone who's English living in Ireland. And obviously Noel Hunt, and all those kind of things. Trying to create a culture, and I think with Reading, what they're trying to do is a no dickhead culture. It's definitely much that kind of, they want people that want to be there, and they want people that will play for the team, as we've had, the last season, and under all the adverse stuff that happened, you want people that want to be proud to play for the Royals. And in football now, there's no loyalty pretty much now in the game, like and that's somebody his age and he wants a decent contract, but we're not offering stupid money either. I think that's the thing that we've kind of learned over the summer. Reading aren't going to pay over the odds money for players after all the stuff that we've done previously with the previous owner. So people have to be a bit wise in how they do things. But I'm looking forward to him being a leader for us. I think he's an outstanding player, and I'm sure you'd agree. And it's just football that players move on when there's an opportunity and a fresh challenge and all those kind of things. But sod's law, your first game for us is against you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the thing is, like, as the season drew to a close, it was one of those, we knew it was going to happen. He did it to join us. Obviously, he was at Bradford, and he ran his contract down there in order to get the best deal for himself. Nobody has any ill will towards Paudie whatsoever. Like you say, he was a captain, he was a leader, he's an absolute monster, and he does what you need a centre back to do. He'll head it and he'll kick it, and if it's not hanging off, he'll stay on the pitch. So
yeah, and that's exactly what you want as a player, as a fan, isn't it? For any club, you want a guy that will run through brick walls and do the best, regardless of ability wise. You just want someone that will go out there and be proud to wear the shirt. And I think that's what we want as a fan. We haven't had, for the last number of years, we haven't had opportunities to actually buy players for positions that we want because of all the embargoes. It's been frees, it's been loans. So it's like a kind of, very badly fitted jigsaw. But now we've all, and I think that's where the fans' frustration is now we're not doing that anymore. Why can't we get the perfect jigsaw and have these players in the right positions that we've got? I mean, getting some in, that's but it's going to still take time, and people have to want to come to the club. It's life. That's football.
Yeah. You say about being proud to wear the shirt. Dare I bring up the reaction to the home shirt from wide circles this season? Are you a fan of it?
Well, Wetherspoons think it's very popular.
That was my first reaction, to be honest. In the Stacey West group chat, it was like, oh, they've got a Wetherspoons plate.
No, honestly, personally, my granddad used to work for Huntley & Palmer's biscuit factory in Reading. So I love the fact that they're doing different, and I love the fact that any club's doing different. I think Port Vale have done a Kestrel shirt that's different.
That's Barnsley, I think, isn't it?
The Barnsley, sorry.
Barnsley's away.
Sorry. Yeah. Like for Reading, Huntley & Palmer, we were called the Biscuit Men, going back to the day of my grandparents, their parents. And it was a huge. Huntley & Palmer is still around now, but it was an iconic thing in Reading. And so to go back to a bit of our history and do something different, and the away shirt is kind of like a burnt orange thing that's based around one of the tins.
Yeah, I saw the away shirt. I think they said it was to do with the town hall as well. big fan of that. I like that. It's quite
Yeah,
nice.
it's about the history of the town, and we've gotten a third shirt. God knows what that will come out. If it's about Reading Jail, that'd be interesting. Who knows? But yeah, I love it. I'm still waiting for mine to arrive. That's 3 days late so far. The Weatherspoon shirt, as we call it. But do you know what? It gets people talking about the club
100%.
rather than about the poxy ex-owner and all the other negative things that have hanged around us. And like you guys, you play in red and white, we play in blue and white. How much can you do with a blue and white hooped shirt, red and white striped shirt? It's kind of like, well, you can't do much. So to do that and to create around the biscuit tin, I think like it's like Marmite, isn't it? You either love it or you hate it, but it creates discussion. And I think Macron's as a shirt person, group, whatever you want to call them, they do different, and they do stuff like we had Puma before, and it was just kind of same. Yeah. And I kind of go like, we had the purple shirtle, as we called it, the one based on the Purple Turtle pub that's iconic in Reading a couple of years ago, and that was cool. I just like, as a fan, it's like, it gets us going into a different place of something that's
it's nice when like you say they do something different other than it's plain red and white. I mean, this season we've got the little binary numbers that go down the middle of the shirt, which says "We Are Imps," and that's in tribute to George Ball, who was born in Lincoln. So it's those little things.
A little personal touch, I think, it means a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. So let's look ahead then to Saturday. To wrap up. I mean, by the sounds of that, it sounds like you're not overly confident. I mean, it's always a bit of a crapshoot when you come to previewing the first game of the season. Like, you can't take too much from pre-season. You can't take too much from an awful lot of stuff that's gone on. If you're taking our last pre-season game, we stuffed West Brom 4-2, and I think you guys got pretty heavily beat at the weekend as well in the preseason. But you can't take those results for face value when you come to this. It's all about Saturday. It's all about what to expect. And can we expect? I mean, are we expecting it to be a tough game, a tight game, a long, an interesting game? How based on what you've heard and seen so far, anything you can maybe glean from it?
I honestly don't know. I think like, because I said, like, with the squad, we're lacking really strength in depth up front. So like, young lad from Brighton, who he's on loan for us. He hasn't scored. We haven't scored many goals in pre-season. And Kelvin Bitterman, who is on his day, is brilliant. He scored the first goal against Birmingham first day of last season when we drew 1-0, and probably one of the ones that did well against them, and he's a handful. But when you've lost, sounds like we're losing Harvey Nibbs, who scores so many goals from midfield and is an engine. But then we got Ben Elliott coming back, and you can't put too much on pre-season. We know that. But from what we've seen so far, it hasn't been brilliant. But Noel Hunt will make sure those lads will run out and run through brick walls for Reading Football Club, regardless of ability, regardless of what they've done previously. That's what I love about Noel. He's got a great surname as well. Unfortunately, I'm not related to him, but he lives and breathes Reading Football Club. So anyone that plays for us, and we've got young lad Garcia that was playing left back last year, 16, 17 years of age. I think we'll probably play more of an attacking role now. We've got Jacobs in from Hull on loan there. So we've actually got a natural left back, which we haven't had for years. So it gives us a bit more of a natural flow. But then, like I said, like, there's still a month till the transfer window closes. So, there's still time to improve as a squad. There's still time to do things. But what Noel will do is it'll make us hard to beaten, I think, especially first few games of the season away from home. We've not got an easy run to sort of start off the season. But look, we know League One Championship, any of the EFL, we could sit here and go, yep, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. You could win 4-0, we could lose 4, win 4-0 ourselves. We could be 2-2. We just don't know. And I think that's the beauty of the leagues that we play in. And but it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for me to see where we're going to go with this, because it's a a new ownership. It's a new era for Reading Football Club after a long time of hell. And we've it's into the unknown.
Difficult, isn't it? It's always tricky in this first game. So
yeah, and I think I always judge football. Your season. Where are you at after 10 games? Where are you at Christmas? And there's certainly, obviously, compared to last season when we had Sam Smith up front, there's concerns for me as our goal scoring ability. Jaden Wareham was a backup and he's gone. Both of them have gone. Harvey's sounds like he's going. Where are we going to score goals from? And that's and then from a defensive point of view, we've lost a really good centre back partnership, replaced with a very good player from yourselves, and a young lad from Man City as well, who looks very promising. But it's still.
It's early days. Early days.
Early days. That's how we sum it up, isn't it? It's like you just don't know. We just don't know. But one thing I think will be different this season is you won't have runaway teams like we had last season. Birmingham, Wrexham to a point. It will be much more of a closer league from 1 to 24. Do I think that's realistic because of even the likes of Luton, Plymouth, whoever coming down. They're not spending big.
It's all fairly sensible, I think, from what we've seen so far, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think you might find as well, like when transfer window come, the last week of the transfer window, it might go a bit crazy where people are starting to gamble on what they need after seeing the first 3 or 4 games. And we're short there, and all of a sudden this magic money pot comes out, and well, it's a weird one.
Yeah, definitely so. So, right, what we'll do is we will wrap up. And what we're going to do this season is we're going to ask the same 5 questions to everybody that comes on for the previews. But before we do that, we will have a very quick prediction. It's obviously a little bit pointless given that we don't know what's going on. How do you see the game ending on Saturday? And who's coming away with the points?
I actually will go for a 1-1 draw.
Okay. I'd take that as well, to be fair.
It
nobody knows
happen, but we can ask.
Yeah, absolutely. So, right, the quick fire, we'll try and do these as quickly as we possibly can. So, best thing about supporting Reading?
It's home. It's my team. It's my family. It's my everything. And it's our football club. It's our community. It means the world to us. And we're still here. We're still fighting. We haven't lost our club. That's it for us.
Perfect. Worst thing about supporting Reading?
Oh, jeez.
Very different answer last season, by the way.
I think the worst thing, as I touched on earlier, is like we've gone back to being some toxicity on social media and fan bases about people knowing more and people doing this and people having this, and like when you're unified towards hating an owner who just destroyed the club, it made us so much easier. But now everyone has their own opinions and everyone's giving out, and it's just like, oh, come on, I can't be dealing with it.
Fair enough. Favorite away day?
Favorite away day? God, geez, there's been a few. Peterborough was always one of mine because I used to live near there, so it was a home game for me when I was living in England. I
We'll take Peterborough. We'll take
Peterborough. I like anything, like just when you get a chance to go to a new ground. Obviously, living over here, I don't get to many the games as much as I used to. But I think anywhere where you've gone and you've got a result in an away game and you're go home bouncing, I think that's the best part of it, isn't it? Especially against the kind of localist rival like Oxford and Swindon for us.
Yeah, definitely
was mainland. I'm sure for yourselves, Peterborough. It was you go out and you're just like buzzing because you're beating the local scumbags.
Absolutely. Right, last 2. One word that comes to mind when you hear the words Lincoln City.
Nice.
Nice. Okay, we'll have that. That's good one.
Yes. Yeah.
And the club that you secretly hate, not the most outward hate, but the one that you secretly hate.
Secretly hate. Jesus. Secretly hate any club in the world or in the country or anything in the EFL or just anyone.
Any club that you secretly hate.
Man City.
Man City. Okay, I'd say that's probably more outward for a lot of people, but we'll go with that one. So, right, thank you ever so much for joining me, Johnny. It's been a pleasure, mate. Always welcome back for later on in the season if you fancy it.
Absolutely. Depends how Saturday goes.
20 seconds or so. Give yourself a plug. Let people know where they can find you, and then we'll wrap this one up.
Now, look, the major thing for me is now I do Talking Roles, which is a mental health peer-to-peer support group online for Reading fans and any football fans ever want to join us. It means the world to me with my own mental health journey, and it's open to anyone. The Talking platform with the Talking Cherries. We're trying to get more fans around the country to talk about their mental health and make it an everyday conversation. So please join us. It's real. It's real for men. It's real for everyone. So yeah, thank you. No
worries, mate. 100%. I'll get the link off you, and we'll pop it in the description as well, so people can click on that and head there after the fact. So hopefully you've enjoyed this one. We will of course have previews for the games throughout the course of the season. And until next time, up the Imps.